Greetings fellow captains, and welcome back to another episode of World of Warships with the Hive Hound. And today we have another replay from Tigre, this time in the Tier 7 British destroyer HMS Lightning. Now HMS Lightning's got a pretty interesting past. It was one of the escort ships for the Iron Duke when it took Prime Minister at the time, Winston Churchill, and several of his chief staff members across the Atlantic to meet with the Americans during World War II. As you can see, he's engaged with some destroyers. He's looking at possibly launching some torpedoes very early into this match. Tigre is a French gentleman, hence the difference in game sounds that you're hearing at the moment, just in case anyone was confused. I actually quite like how the French the French captains, you know, the French voiceovers sound. It's nice to hear it in a different language. It sounds quite good. Oh, I might change my settings, maybe see what if it sounds like. So right, okay, so he's done a bit of damage. Let's get back to the HMS Lightning. During late February and March 1943, the Lightning was escorting troops and supply ships between Algiers and Beaune in the day, and attacking enemy convoys at night. When in the harbour, every day she was attacked repeatedly by enemy aircraft, and she actually acted as an anti-aircraft ship. On her last voyage, the Lightning left Beaune alone at 17:45 hours, so 5:45 in the evening on Friday the 12th of March, after joining its sister ship, the Loyal, which provided flanking, screening cover for the cruisers Aurora and Sirius. They planned to attack the German convoy as they left out of Sicily bound for Tunisia, but when the convoy heard Lightning had left port, they returned to harbour. At 18:51, so 9 minutes to 7, the Lightning was attacked by 12 German torpedo bombers. The Lightning shot down one of the bombers, and the attack itself failed to do any damage at all. At about 10 PM, interpreters on board the Lightning intercepted a radio message in German stating they were about to attack the Lightning. 15 minutes later, a German mortar torpedo boat, S-158 of the 7th S-boat flotilla, fired the first torpedo, disabling the Lightning. The ship's company had no time to return fire, and they were not operating to full condition due to the heavy fighting that had been continuous over the past couple of days. So the captain turned the ship hard to port to try and comb the track of the torpedo, but the Lightning was too slow and was hitting the port bow, blowing it clean off. The second E-boat, the S-55 of the 3rd S-boat flotilla, circled the ship and moved round to the starboard side. The German boat fired a second torpedo, hitting beneath the funnel, destroying both the boiler rooms, the pom-pom, and the forward torpedo tubes on the upper deck. Moments later, the Lightning was abandoned as she had already begun to sink. One survivor was picked up by the S-158, and the remaining 180 survivors, including the captain, Commander Hugh Greaves Walters, was picked up some hours later by the sister ship Loyal, arriving back in Beaune at 5 AM on the 13th of March. Survivors transferred to the Sirius, and the ship's company disbanded and was transferred to other ships from the shore base HMS Hannibal. The Lightning was replaced in Force Q by the Polish destroyer, which you may have heard of, the Błaszkowicza, or Błaszkowicza, but the premium ship that's available in World of Warships, and the name is actually Polish for Lightning, which is kind of fitting. So Obviously, we've been busy sinking and battling other destroyers up until this point. Tigre has wrapped up a nice 10,000 damage and picked up his first kill, which I am sure we're going to see very many more of. Now, as you can see, he took shots at torpedo shots at that Gneisenauer, and if you noticed, he fired one at the aiming reticle and one slightly behind. This is a really good tactic, because if the Gneisenauer turns slightly or slows down, then that slightly larger spread improves the chances of hitting. The Gneisenauer has turned really hard to port and narrowly avoided all of Tigre's torpedoes there. I'm not too sure. There didn't seem to be any reason for him to take such evasive manoeuvres, besides possibly turning to engage our battleship. So Tigre uses the smoke screen so he can rain down some hellfire onto the Gneisenauer, as the Gneisenauer gets taken out by some torpedoes from one of our other friendly destroyers, and that's taken us up to almost 20,000 damage, which is quite impressive considering the opportunities for targets that he's had. He hasn't really had any solid chances to attack any battleships or torpedoes up until this point. So we have the Colorado, which is moving in towards us. So he could have Tigre could have fired, but he's doing the sensible option, because nothing else is around. He's not going to get detected, so he's just closing down the distance that bit more, so reducing the spread and increasing our chances. Come on, saying like I've got something to do with this match. It's got nothing to do with me. This is all Tigre. So he's closing in to 6.4, giving us a 30-second and 5.4 kilometer range on range to target on his torpedoes. So our Tigre's torpedoes are away. We have fish in the water, and Tigre's turning around. He's heading towards the other battleship. He's pretty confident that those torpedoes are going to hit their target. Turns around to have a look, because, you know, why wouldn't you? And this looks good. 1, 2, 3, 4 solid torpedo hits and some flooding. Looks like the Colorado has instantly repaired, and Tigre has decided, yeah, no, I'm not having any of this. He goes to turn back, but then realizes, you know, there's targets of opportunity everywhere. So what is he going to aim for first? The Iowa is obviously a massive threat, but he is being escorted by that Megami at the moment. Not entirely sure if this is the play I would have made myself, but let's see how it works out for young Tigre here. There's obviously a lot of torpedoes already in the water. As you can see, he's targeting the Megami now, who's making some evasive maneuvers. So another 8 torpedoes out in the water. I've noticed the Lightning's torpedoes. Maybe Tigre will tell us in chat exactly the speed of his torpedoes, but they seem to be shifting very quickly. Ooh, that looks like, yes, and that's a 5th torpedo hit, and that is kill number 2. But unfortunately, is the spread on the Iowa going to hit? I think it's passed. Unfortunately, we don't. Tigre does not get the hit with the follow-up torpedo spread there. But he's laying down his smoke. He's the only one left alive against 2 battleships. So because he was really well played, I think that was actually, looking back, quite thought out. He's taken out that Megami. Has definitely left him with the advantage. 2 battleships and a cruiser. The Megami on its own, the cruiser, could prove to be a bit of a handful. So he's sailing around, trying to stay out of detection range, trying not to give his position away to the battleships whilst his torpedoes reload. And we have the Iowa up as a target. The Iowa is slowing down, and Tigre preemptively fires the first salvo behind the Iowa, assuming that the Iowa is going to back up. It's towards the edge of the cap circle. So, chances are he's going to slow down and back up. You wouldn't expect him to sail straight through it. So that was a really nice move, I think. Let's see if it pays off. So there's torpedo spread number 1. And the Iowa was in fact backing up. And torpedo spread number 2, we only score a single hit, but we do get a defend medal, and it does give us, we're in the cap, so we have got the advantage of preventing them from taking the base. But with only that 1 torpedo hit, a fairly healthy Iowa and Colorado left to kill. This is gonna take some skill and resisting of the temptation to just sail in and drop your torps really close and hope to get the kill. We have, it's really hard. There's one thing about the about this game, the timer on the screen can be quite difficult to see depending on the color of the sky. We've got some clouds now, so you can see there is just in fact a minute and a half left, and with our torpedo reload being just over a minute itself, time is of the essence here. They are ahead on points, they are in our cap, so this could result in a loss unless Tigre scores some really good hits here. So we hit the Colorado and we take out the Iowa. Now we're down to the last 50 seconds. We have 44 seconds left on our torpedo, and we're up to 112,000 damage, and that Colorado is on incredibly low health. So he very wisely drops his smoke screen. He's not going to get a chance to use his torpedoes to finish off this Colorado, so he switches to his guns. That's a lot of damage to deal out in the next 16 seconds. And despite its best efforts, that ended in a loss. But a really good game, and once again, Tigre showcasing how to correctly play a destroyer. Destroyers very early in the game, if you're in a Lightning or in a British or an American destroyer, killing the other destroyers is critical, and keeping yourself alive, giving yourself that availability to spot. And then I think picked up the high caliber, and then at the end, as the lighter ships start to whittle down and you're just left with the battleships, punishing them really, really hard. So I'd like to thank Tigre once again for allowing us to use his gameplay. And until next time, take care.